Hi and good evening, everyone. My name is Albert, and this is a public service announcement. It's also vlogs about nothing. So, down to some nitty gritty business stuff here. I need some subs because we only have like 1,430 something. So, if you wouldn't mind, and if you like it all, dare I say, if you don't like what you see, if you're watching this video, subscribe. I really appreciate that. You feel me? Anyways, let's talk tonight about the public service announcement. And for the record, just so that you guys know I'm dead sarcastic and absolutely not serious at all about anything that happens in my life, just so much as anything that happens in front of the camera while I'm vlogging. But regardless, if you needed any more clarification, here it is. I am a joke. Please don't listen to anything I do, think, or say, and that's where I leave you, you know? Just let me entertain you. Just relax. Just chill out and let me entertain you. Okay, so speaking of entertainment, and going back to our public service announcement, tonight I want to proudly endorse who I want to be our President of the United States of America, elected here in the first Tuesday of November this year, just a few weeks away. Now, before I reveal who I want everybody to vote for. And I also want to be clear in that when I say I want you to vote for them, in no way, quote unquote, do I want you to actually write this in on your ballot. Or do I? I'm not sure. People do whatever they want to do, you know? I can't stop them. I wouldn't advocate to stop them if they felt so inclined to write in on their ballot just exactly what it is we think of Uncle Sam's policies, and by correlation, the candidates that Uncle Sam has deemed appropriate for us all to vote for, because that sounds like free will, and that definitely isn't controlled by those folks at the Electoral College who are just beyond evil. One could definitely make that argument. Like, what are these guys needed for? Who pays their salaries? And why do we need them again? Like, are we admitting that Democratic Republic has never worked, will never work, and it's just kind of a save face kind of a thing for all of those lucky individuals here who just want to make as much money as they possibly can? Some of them they weren't even born here. The richest man that we've known currently ever to exist, let me remind you, was born in Africa. What's more ironic about that is that he's white. What's more ironic about that is that he is an American, multinationalized citizen. I'm not hating on Musk, but hey, when you're the king of the mountain, my guy, people are gonna come for you, trust me. I know about this very, very little bit, but man, I can't imagine how you get it. You know, it's a good thing you're the richest guy in the world because you can afford to take it. You know, so good for you. I don't think he's a bad guy for the record. I just think that the world is full of irony and that it's up for discussion. You know, seriously, like why not? Employers run our credit and our backgrounds to get hired at $12 an hour jobs, so like why can't we publicly discuss discourse that we may or may not have with public figures that influence our lives on the daily? Anyways, so there's three candidates that I want to go through tonight that I think we should all consider voting for, okay? The first of them is D's Nuts. So D's Nuts has been on the ballot for a few times now. I can't quite quote any real sort of factual memory that I have other than, I guess that's what a memory is. My memory is not as accurate as what the facts would be, right? But D's Nuts has been a major competitor on political ballots throughout our country, both local, regional, and national, for a long time now. So, in that same sort of tradition, I would definitely say that a suitable candidate to be the President of the United States in the year 2024 is D's Nuts. All right? Now, again, this is a real thing. This isn't a joke. I can't make that stuff up. I also can't make up the fact that somebody was clever enough to copyright that name. And if you go to your local grocery store, you'll likely find products that are titled D's Nuts. So it's not only a fictional representation of what we'd like to be in the office for the Oval place, but it's also an actual brand name. So I don't want to mess that up either. D's Nuts is a great product, as well as a great fictionalized character for us to all consider voting for in this coming election. So, alright, D's Nuts will provide us with, many more tangible things than either current major political candidate will, okay? I'm just saying that D's Nuts will get a lot more done for you than Donald J. Trump or Kamala Harris. That's all that I'm saying, okay? Short and sweet. If there's something you took away from this video, understand. I'll say it again. D's Nuts is the best out of the three aforementioned candidates to vote for if you're considering who to vote for still in the upcoming election. Moving on, I want to talk about our second potential candidate that I'd like you all to vote for this year, and that is, in fact, Free Palestine. So, that one isn't a joke, right? Not so much as D's Nuts is, but definitely filling in Free Palestine is an extension of your exercise to utilize free speech in a non-discriminatory manner that does not cause violence and or animosity, except within, I guess, the group of people who want to collectively continue to perpetuate war. That G word that ends with an E and has an O in it and a C and an I and a D, that word. I'm just saying that, like, young people have been getting arrested this entire year, okay, on college campuses throughout the country for their saying that we need to free Palestine, like the people that are being targeted to move from their homes because somebody else says it's theirs, that kind of a thing. That's, the children, the women, and the innocent civilians, the ones who don't want to have to die because they're trying to live and no one chooses to be born. So, like, how can informed consent even be assumed when you're being brought into a world that is governed by people who want to make it the worst experience in life possible for you by making sure that your home is surrounded by troops that aren't from your country? And if you have any problem with that at all, well, then you can just go ahead and not be alive. I don't feel like that's very fair. I don't feel like that's a cool thing to do to anybody. I don't feel like it's a cool thing to do for the Uyghurs population. I don't think that it's a good thing to do to Darfur, Rwanda, any of the other different Ethiopia. There's so many things currently going on in the world that it's hard to wrap around, right? But let's stick with Free Palestine, because the Middle East, that very unstable part of the world that everybody else fears of because some governments don't want to get along because of religion or old debates that are just archaic and make everyone look like we're born in the 12th century, when in fact we have like flying cars in prototype and planned missions to Mars. So I'd say that we're pretty far removed from the 12th century. But hey, given that like we don't know what went on 1200 years ago, and given that like it's probably likely that it was all a lie anyway, who do we trust? Who do we blame? Who do we vote into office to change things? And I would definitely say that we should consider writing in Free Palestine, because that matters. That's something that matters. It's not some guy who's committed treason. It's not some woman who works her entire life to put people away behind bars in jail. That's a real thing, okay? They're real people that, like, right now, as I make this vlog, are starving. And again, they didn't choose to be this way. So it's not fair at all. For the people who choose to be that way, and for the people who choose to want to have war and conflict and stuff, why don't you guys go do that away from other people that don't want any part of that? Because you utilize them as leverage, and you do that so that people can listen to you, because for some reason fear-mongering is like the last 2 centuries of what's been going on in the world, and we're supposed to be okay with that. Sure, buddy. Anyways, let's continue to talk about potential political candidates that I want you guys to vote for. And I'll be quick with this last one because this last one is who I really want you to vote for. And that is, in fact, Hecklefish. Okay? I want to turn this into a YouTube short, so let's time it on the video properly. My name is Albert. This is Vlogs About Nothing. And if you're considering voting in this year's presidential election, I would consider you voting for Hecklefish. Hecklefish. He'll do more for you than any other candidate could possibly imagine. Hecklefish is a boss. Hecklefish gets things done. Vote Hecklefish 2024. And there's the end of the short. So listen, guys, seriously, I'm voting for Hecklefish, okay? I don't know about y'all, and I'm not sure how the law works within the confines of what you do with your ballots. But, you know, I'm not one to shy away from the truth, because that's silly, and I just can't imagine myself doing that in any situation. Just causes too many problems. So I'll be very honest, open, and truthful with y'all. I will be voting for Hecklefish, okay? So, you know, this is what it is. This is how it's going down. And Hecklefish is, again, a characterization of what is wrong with America and how this means more to me than anything that Kamala Harris could ever do, anything more than Donald Trump could ever do. This is symbolic of free speech. It's a symbol of things that aren't quite often spoken about. Because if you guys haven't watched the Y-Files, this is also a shameless plug to watch that channel. Because they talk about a lot of stuff that you don't really hear about, and in a real interesting way. And Hecklefish is also there with AJ to make sure that you guys are entertained in the kind of way that we all know we like to be entertained. So, I leave you with that. 3 potential political candidates to vote for instead of Trump or Harris. D's nuts, Free Palestine, or Hecklefish. If you're feeling real crazy and real, like, about free speech and what should be going on and what is the right thing to do, you might consider writing in all 3 candidates. Just saying. Because all 3 of them are more viable and would be way more helpful to the American electorate than any of these other 2 people. And so, yeah, I say these things knowing that one of them is going to win, and that for the next 4 years, I'm going to have to shamelessly eat up all of the words that I'm saying. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because I'm hoping that within that time, we will have better candidates in 4 years. I mean, I guess at the very least, when Donald Trump wins, because I think that America's going to choose that guy, because America's like that, just because of the boomers, no other reason. They lock us all out. It's all good. But, like, if Trump wins, he can't run for president again, because he's already been president twice. I say this with such biting of my tongue, right? Because wouldn't it be our luck if in 4 years there was some, like, constitutional amendment by boomers or some, like, remaining quiet generation people that are like, hey, let's change that. Let's do Trump again. I would not be a fan of Uncle Sam anymore at that point. At that point, Uncle Sam will have been just, you know, a fleeting kind of an idea that was tried but never really worked. So I really am hoping that, you know, if Donald Trump's elected, when he's elected, that in the next 4 years we'll have, like, actual candidates, not incumbents, but actual politicians. I'm looking forward to that day, because there's nothing like seeing a bunch of politicians try to sell you an idea of what they're going to do and then what they actually do in real time. And, man, this will be closer to 2030, so let's see what the world looks like then. I'm excited. So many things have happened to me in the last 3 years. I can imagine what's going to happen to the world in the next 3 years, you know? You guys remember the pandemic and all that stuff? And the fact that in the pandemic, a lot of us enjoyed probably the best experience in life we've ever had yet to this point, because Uncle Sam intervened and we all got to stay home and everybody got a little bit of money, and that was okay. But now we're going back to the way it was done before, even though we now know of a world that is so much better than this one. I'm okay with that. Instead, I stand before you as a proud seventh generation born American who says that Hecklefish, D's Nuts, and Free Palestine are going to be your best bets for this year's upcoming election. You guys have a really good night. And again, I'm a joke. This program's a joke. Can't control you out in the real world, but if you vote for D's Nuts, Free Palestine, or Hecklefish, you did not vote for them because of me. I hope that you guys have a really good night, alright? Bye.